922 subscribers, and I made $16,300.
I'm sorry.
And and I want to say that my business had been slow before this. Like I was barely making any money. So it has blown my mind.
Okay, we're going to talk all about how you did this. Now, first of all, I want to say you did have a birthday since we talked. And what
I
is your
did.
age now?
I turned 69.
And I'm still going to be blown away by that. You're 69 years young.
I am.
How is that feeling?
It feels amazing. Like
Yeah.
I feel on fire. I just feel,
Well, you are. You are. So let's talk about Substack.
yeah.
First of all, what is Substack for anyone who doesn't know it well?
It's a platform for writers, but it's kind of set up like Instagram as far as they have what's called Substack Notes. But then it's also a newsletter platform where you can have like your whole page, almost like the front page of a website where you post for, and then you can use it as your email platform and email out the post to whoever's on your list.
Wow, so it's a newsletter that we're kind of used to understanding, but then it also has like a feed. Is that what you're saying?
It
Like
has a feed. Also, it has podcast. You could podcast on there. You can go live on there. So there's a lot
live
of
on video.
yes, and
Yeah, so you can do
yeah.
audio. When you say podcast, you mean audio?
Yes, you can do audio, video. So
Wow.
it has a lot of features.
It's a lot of features that it didn't have a year ago, 2 years ago,
Right.
for
And
sure.
I just want to say I just got on there in February. So
Mm.
I've
Just th 3.5 months essentially you've been
yeah.
on there. What made May different? And let's really dial in on what that 16,000 plus came from. So let's first say that. What the breakdown, you made 16,000 how? Like from what?
Well, first I was looking at just doing some $100 sessions
Mhm.
just so I could start the momentum of selling.
Yeah, that was
And
the 5 day
so,
challenge. It kind of got you back into
right.
the game because you had done high ticket before.
Yes,
You
but
were sort
lost.
of, looking for your footing again.
Yes,
Yes.
totally. Yes, I had lost confidence and just had not been charging those high ticket prices or selling really. So I started out, I figured, okay, the $100 challenge, it will get the momentum of selling going again. But I got on a consult with someone, and I was going to offer her the $100 session, but then when she started telling me what was going on with her life and what changes she wanted to make, I knew it was beyond a
Yeah.
one-off $100 session.
Sure.
And so I just offered a 6-month coaching package for $6,000, and she said yes. And then someone else scheduled a consult and she said yes to a $6,000 package. And then I got someone else on a call and I kind of use my intuition as far as what they need and where they are. And so this woman, I was thinking she doesn't really need 6 months, but she could use 3 months. So then I offered her a $3,000 session. And
Yeah.
in between, I sold some $100 sessions. And then what I did too is some people got on a consult and I offered them a $3,000 session and they were like, I just don't have it. So then I said, well, what if we work together for 3 sessions for $800? So that's, and they said yes.
Yeah, yeah,
So it's
just kind
just
of finding what they need. Those conversations are so important. We talk about that so much. Your sales are on the other side of a good conversation. And when you
totally,
get on that conversation, you don't have to have a very stringent thing of, oh, I'm trying to sell. It's like, how can I be helpful? What is this
totally,
person, what do I think they may need? Okay,
totally.
so you got that from and the consultations, I want to piece it together, right? The consultations were because people saw you on Substack. Is that right?
Yes.
So what is the offer that you're making? What is that when you say you're doing calls or you're doing 6 months, what are you helping them with?
I'm helping them turn their experience, their knowledge, their wisdom into an offer.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm teaching them how to monetize what they already know how to do, what they already have been doing in their life, um, but just how to monetize it. And so many people can't see it for themselves. So
Yeah.
I'm really good at coming up with ideas and names of things and ways to monetize. Like it
Yeah.
just comes to me.
And sometimes people need a guide, to
Oh,
walk them through things that they may be taking a course, they may be in a membership, they may be learning something, but they still need that accountability and that guide to
absolutely.
just walk with them.
Absolutely.
And it's like having a coach at the gym, it's like I can
Right.
go into the gym and pump iron, right? But if I have somebody who's next to me and who's saying, Remember why you're doing this, and remember what the
Right.
form looks like, and remember this idea." Okay, so that's 16,000 because of three or four members. Now, does Substack pay you?
Well, they do pay people for your news, like you can charge people for your newsletter, but I decided to think outside the box
Hmm.
and not charge until my list grows to 5,000. So right now I have almost 3,000. So I'm more focused on growing my list than making my money off of Substack because it's just $5, $8. I'm like, I don't need to nickel and dime people. The people
Yeah.
that really want my help, they can work with me, and then whoever wants to read what I've written can have free range because otherwise, if you don't pay, there's certain things you can't read when people
Yeah,
charge.
yeah. It reminds me of the options you have for doing YouTube. Like if you do YouTube, you give away free information and people are like, It's so scary to give away free information." But it's like, no, actually, the more people get to know you and trust you as a thought leader and as an authority in your topic, the
Right,
more they're willing to spend with you. And then also with free memberships, I talk about doing free memberships, especially on school. The reason
right.
I talk about that is because of that nurturing, the way you're able to give and pour into people. So you're saying that Substack, what I'm hearing is that Substack is that next option. It's another option just like that to nurture it, especially if you don't
Yes,
charge. Some
yes.
people do charge, though. They charge like a
Oh,
monthly
yeah,
subscription.
they suggest you charge $5, $8, $10 for a subscription, but I just didn't. I wanted to do it my way. Like
Yes.
part of what I've been doing is doing things my way instead of what everybody has told me in the past I had to do or should do.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm learning, but then I'm taking what works for me and applying it to my business instead of thinking, oh, I have to compare myself to other people and oh, they're doing it this way. I should do it. No, I decided, and that has made the biggest difference in the world doing it my way. And also I help them with their courage and boldness to talk about things that they would normally kind of be hesitant to talk about. And they would tell themselves, oh, nobody cares about that. Yes,
You
people
mean
care.
on the sub, you mean
On
like they're
subs, well,
expressing themselves.
yes, with my
Yeah.
coaching,
Yeah.
that's how I help people to become more bold and outspoken and monetize their story and their experience
Mhm.
because people think, oh, nobody cares about that. They really do care about that. And so that's the other piece of what I do and what I started doing myself and why I think I've grown so quickly on Substack because I talk about the failures, vulnerable things. And it's my email list when I before I took it to Substack, I was shrinking. My list was shrinking. It was not growing. And
Mm.
to grow by that many in 1 month, 922 subscribers, that's pretty wild.
How are they finding you? How
On
does Substack work?
Substack,
Oh, I understand that, but I mean, does Substack push you out to people like YouTube?
I they have a totally different kind of algorithm. To be honest with you, I just jumped in there and started showing up, and I don't know like all the little details of how it
Yeah.
all works, but a couple of people they call it restacking. So like
Mm,
reposted, restacked some of my stories, and there were a couple that went kind of viral, and
mm.
mostly my notes. So the notes, like I said, is kind of like Instagram or Threads. I had one that maybe 2,500 people liked, and I have another one that's
Like,
about Yeah.
Wow.
And I have another one that I think it's up to maybe 1,800 people liked.
Yeah, it feels like Substack figured out, hey, this Twitter thing is working. Even Threads is it's working to have this snapshot. Same thing on YouTube. You can do posts on YouTube
Right.
and they get seen by so many people. And it drives a whole different kind of way of looking. I like that Substack has figured out a couple things. And I think there
Hmm.
may be some controversy with Substack, but I can't remember what it is. So I'm not going to really talk about it, but I'll look it up. Everybody should look up and make your own decisions if I'm right
Hmm.
about that.
Hmm.
But what do you think changed? I asked earlier and I didn't get a chance to really ask it. What do you think made the difference in May with Substack? Why do you think it Substack is the place for you?
I think what changed is I decided to go all in on talking about my age, like real, and my birthday was in May. So I just decided I'm going to really focus on the fact that I'm turning 69, that it's amazing to be over 50, because I mostly talk to women over 50 and help women over 50. And I just went all in on focusing on you can change your life no matter what your age is, that this is amazing. And I think people really took to that I'm 69, I don't look 69, and my
Mhm.
stories that I tell are some of them are kind of out of the box. So I think people are drawn to my stories too, because like I shared a story about I dated a guy that's 23 years younger.
Oh, 23 years younger. I thought you were going to say 23 years old, and I think I was going to have a
No.
little fit.
Oh no.
23 years younger. Okay.
Yeah, so I
Okay.
told that story. I told a story about my ex-husband. But I tie it all into lessons I learned and mindset shifts. So I showed up like really, really vulnerable.
Yeah. I think, and what do you think that other, like if you're talking about members watching this,
Hmm. I
what do you think, what goes on in those memberships? Like, what do you think people should be thinking about when it comes to that? Like, basically, we're all running out of time here as far as like, we got to do stuff now. We have the next
Yeah,
10, 20, 30, 50 years. And what should we do with
yeah.
that time?
But I think well, I'm not sure the question exactly you're asking me, but what I think people should do is be vulnerable, more vulnerable, and talk about the things that they might think work against them. So I went all in on talking about things that people normally think work against them. And I think that that really has a lot to do with it. Even the name of my Substack, The Old Black Lady Chronicles. People reach out to me now and they're like, well, I'm the old white man. It surprised me. Or I'm the old white lady. You know,
Mm,
they really people connect to the things that we don't normally talk about. So I
mm.
think that if people leaned more into the things they're embarrassed about, that they think work against them, they would be really surprised at how much it would help them grow. I feel very strongly about that.
You answered my question exactly as I asked it. Exactly, because I think that is so interesting. It's like we always talk about it. Like I even have a signature phrase, be yourself so the people looking for you can find you. But
Hmm.
what you just said was it's almost like it's like a hack.
Yes, that's what
What?
I
So
think.
it's like,
Yeah,
what is something that could be used against me, or has been used against me? And I'm going to turn that and flip that into what I am going to talk about the most.
totally,
Yeah.
totally. And I think of it as a hack for myself. I
Mhm.
really do. And yesterday I was talking to my sister and she said, it's almost like Tabitha Brown, like how Tabitha Brown, when she first started out, she was talking about her illness and the
Mm,
things that were going wrong. And people connect with that stuff.
yeah.
People, I lost hearing in one ear in 2019. And I wrote a story about how I lost my hearing, and I put a picture of me at the hospital getting ready for hyperbaric oxygen treatment in the chamber. Like, I have gone like really raw about things that have happened in my life, but all of it, it's worked out amazingly. And I just think if people leaned into what went right and what they think went wrong,
Yeah.
if that makes sense. Because there's something positive. You can find something positive about all of these situations.
Absolutely. I mean, I had this video. I don't think I'll be able to find it fast enough, but I have a video from last year on YouTube where the video just shows like Oprah and The Rock and all these different people. And I say that the reason you know them, the reason you trust them and are endeared by them or find them endearing is that they have shared their vulnerabilities. They have
Mhm.
shared, even with The Rock, the strong rock that we know him, or at least I do, because he had
Yeah.
$7 to his name when he reached, Nashville with his dad and
Mhm.
XYZ, right? And
Right.
all those struggles. And Oprah certainly is a poster child for this. Um, but I think that we need to be reminded of that. I think that helps to be reminded of
Yeah.
that. Oh, go ahead.
I wanted to mention another thing. I got interviewed by three different people in May also, and one of them was a writer for AARP.
That's right. So how did
Yeah,
that go? So
that
AARP, if anybody doesn't know what that is, explain what that is and then tell us how that went.
it's for old people. What is it? I don't even Association of
Oh, I don't know what it stands for, but what is it?
But it's a big organization for people over 50. Everybody that turns 50 will get their AARP card. It's
Yes.
like an association. They have benefits and they have education and all things related to being um, over 50.
Mhm.
And they interviewed me. The topic is ageless ambition. I don't know what the article is going to be called, but all of this because I showed up boasting that I'm turning 69.
Did they see it on Substack?
Well, one of the women who's in your first 5K is on Substack, and she used to be a fitness writer. And the woman for AARP is her friend, and she recommended me. And they were having,
Wow.
and the editor specifically wanted somebody in their 60s. They had
Yeah,
found other people, but they hadn't been able to find someone in their 60s.
talk about the opportunity value, even beyond the money. What's that opportunity value when you put yourself out there?
Well, you grow as a person. Like you grow so much as a person. But the big thing for me is that you help so many other people. Like you can't even imagine how many people you empower and help by telling your story and being open. And it just blows my mind. And so many years before, when I was in corporate, I'd be embarrassed about all of these things and want to hide. And a lot of women lie about their age and all kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
it's
they do.
it's been it's been such a blessing for me. I'm just glad that I really trusted myself to make these changes because it was scary. Like my old email list, I deleted 500 people from my old email list because my open rate was so becoming so low and people weren't opening it. And it was a God thing. That's the only thing I could say that
Mhm.
told me. I read a couple people's Substack and I've been wanting to be a writer since I was a little girl and people talked me out of it. So it was kind of just like this spiritual download. I don't know that it's time for me to step into my identity as a writer. So I view myself now as a writer first and a coach, not just a coach.
I
Um,
love
and
that.
I just, it gives me chills that changed everything.
I want to address what the last, let's call it a year prior to February, prior to May. What was that like? Because we now see the benefits, we see the money rolling in, the opportunities rolling in, you're finding all this confidence in yourself. But you were in all access up until a point,
Yeah,
right? It's true.
yeah,
Like you were in all
yeah.
access. You're like contributing to all access. What was, you don't have to get too personal, but I'm
No,
just,
I don't mind.
yeah, what
I,
was going on where I just want to paint the picture because I don't
right.
know the answer. What was
Oh,
going on where
okay.
you felt, I need to leave, and also You weren't, you said you stopped selling the high ticket. Like, what was that all about?
I lost confidence. So I had tripled my corporate salary my first year in business, which
Mm,
was 2022. I made $300,000. Like my job, I made 105. So that just blew my mind, but also I got burnt out. I just like for me, it was so much confusion. Like, how was that possible? How did I do? I, and then people kept telling me I needed to know how to scale, and I was telling myself, I don't know how to scale.
I
And
don't want to scale
I,
necessarily. Yeah,
right,
300,000 is great.
and I just got so burnt out. Just stopped marketing, stopped taking
Mhm.
clients, and I was like, I just need to go sit somewhere. Literally, I did that for quite a while. I just shut down.
Yeah.
Um, but then I started having a lot of financial problems,
Mhm.
and my house was getting ready to be foreclosed on. And
Mhm.
so when I left All Access, it was like I was counting pennies.
Yeah.
Like I really was counting pennies. And to go from, I couldn't have talked about it back then. I could talk about it now, but to go from making 300K and people are all proud of you and everything to burning out. Then I found out I had ADHD and I had a lot of mindset, like I was in therapy and a lot of mindset drama about that. Even though it's so wild, I had it all along, but when you give it a name, you think about it differently.
Yeah.
So that's why I left because I was like, I have to put this $100 to bills,
Yeah, that's
honestly.
great.
Um, and
And
that's
the reason I'm asking is because there's so many people who reach out to me on both memberships who say that they're having hardships financially. They
mm,
either need to leave or they want, something for free or, and I just want to give hope to people that first of all, you're not alone. And second of all, you can bounce back from it. So go ahead.
yeah, I even took a job for a coaching, it's a coaching business. They were looking for somebody in sales, and I took this job and I hated it. And I
Mhm.
stayed there for about 5 weeks, and I said, I don't care what financial problems I have. This is not meant for me. Um, and so I think everything that happened had to have happened for me to get here. So that's kind of what led me to saying I have to get all the coach speak out of my mouth, out of my brain. You know, I got certified and was in this coach
Mhm.
arena. Um, and I had to get everybody out of my head and come back to me. And and I'm sure you know this, it makes me feel emotional. There were so many days I sat here and I kept telling myself, faith, like lean on your faith. Don't go back. So many days I wanted to like look for a job and I couldn't. Like I just could
Yeah, you just knew
not.
your whatever we want to call it, your spirit, your intuition, it knew that that was not for you at this stage in your life. You were a new chapter away, one page in your
Yes.
new chapter.
So I want people to know if you lean into your faith, and I gave it an acronym, fully anticipate it to happen.
Ooh, you came up with that.
Yeah.
Wow, fully anticipate it to happen. Yeah, yeah,
I just knew if I stepped into the discomfort and just, I don't know, like miracles kept happening. Like somebody owed me money and a check would come right when I needed it. And so,
mhm.
like, everything just kept working out. Like, even
Yeah,
though my house did almost get foreclosed on,
yeah.
but
What time period was that that things like started coming back up?
after probably, so 2023, things were really bad. And then 2024, I got a coaching client that paid me 15,000 and we worked together for a year.
Yeah.
And she worked at a university and they were paying for her coaching. So the only way they would do it was pay monthly payments. So that spread out over a year and then I get Social Security. So I was like, last year
Yeah.
kind of piecing
Yeah.
things together and digging myself, out. 2023 probably was the worst time, and then 2024 kind of like the effects of its, I don't know, I started seeing the light, I guess.
Yes, you started. Yeah,
Like,
I can totally picture that.
yeah, like, okay, Gail, you're figuring this out, and it's been like you talk about being homeless, and I just know the journey I went on of having my bank account closed because I had so many overdrafts. I
Yes.
never had that my whole life.
Mm,
I grew up pretty poor, but once I got out of that poverty, I was good, right?
yeah.
So to go through that at my age, too, and the mindset around, oh, at this age, you should have, all this money in your retirement and you should be lounging around and traveling. And that's not most people's experience.
No, it's
It
not.
just is not. So I'm just so proud and I just want to give people hope that just because you're a certain age, just because things might fall apart, it doesn't mean you can't come back. Just, I always say, if you don't give up, you always win.
It's very true. And what I like too about your story is you left all access um for a few months, and then you saw your first 5K,
Yeah,
and you went back into it and you said, let me dip a toe. Let me just see what this is all about.
right.
You took the 5-day challenge. You poured in, gave a lot of wisdom to everybody in the
Yeah.
platform. Everybody loved all the stuff you were posting, still do. But you said, I'm not going to be so proud that I'm not going to do $100 offer because it's going to get those muscles back, those reps back. You did that. You get on a call for $100 and it turns into 6,000.
It's just wild. But I trust, I trust myself because because of what I went through, I think.
Yeah.
So I have this phrase, I always say I'll figure it out.
Yeah.
And somebody else brought that to my attention. They're like, you always say you'll figure it out. And so I don't know. I just figured I'm just gonna, and plus I trusted you.
Mhm.
And I was like, well, she said sell $100 offer. So
Yeah. Yeah.
I'm
There's
just
a
going
season.
to follow what she said. Um,
Mhm.
and so, so many things. I followed what you said with the
Yeah.
challenge. I followed what you said. I, messaged people. I talked to people. I charged $100. But so many people, from a business perspective, can be converted from $100 to another
Yeah.
offer.
It's not about the 100 really. It is about the muscle memory
Yeah,
and of knowing how to ask for something in return for,
totally.
that's really what it is. So no matter if you're a very beginner or if you're seasoned, you kind of get back into it. And that's what we're teaching in both your first 5K and all access.
Right.
And I want to just wrap up and just ask, is there one last thing you want to make sure that all the members know?
Just listen to everything. Replay this over and over.
Mm,
Because a lot of times we hear something and we hear it, but we don't hear it. Or we dismiss what the person said. So
mm,
I gave a lot of wisdom and nuggets today. I would say listen to it over and over again and don't talk yourself out of some of the things that I said that could work for you.
yeah. Yeah. I love it. I love it. Well, thank you so much. I'm so happy that this is happening with for you because
Thank
you
you.
made it happen. You made it happen. So
Yeah,
do the
thank
great
you.
work and we'll see you in the memberships.
Thank you.